Hey guys, Rick Stone here from Our Stony Acres. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited today because this is the first time the weather has been even moderately decent enough for me to be out in the garden this spring and to record a video outside. So super excited to have you here. We are going to be talking today about seeds that you can be directly sowing in your garden in March if your last frost date lands sometime during the month of May. Okay, so essentially we're going to be targeting about 8 weeks before that last frost date to get these seeds directly planted out into your garden during the month of March, okay? Before we get started though, please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, click that notification bell so you get notice every time I release new videos. Also make sure that you go follow us over on Instagram. I would love to have you join us there. And then stick around for the end because I am going to be talking about a couple of fun challenges that we're going to be doing this spring that will help you get your garden planted. So hopefully you'll stick around and join us for those as well. Okay, so here's what we're going to be talking about. I hesitate with this video because I know some of you, the first thing you're going to be saying in the comments is, my garden's still covered in snow. And I understand. So the advice that I'm going to be giving you today is going to be based on the season, okay, and based on the year. So this year, as you can see, we don't have any snow in our garden in March. So it's mid-March right now, and the snow is gone. And it looks like for the next 10 days or so, we're not going to have any snow in the forecast. We do have a couple of rainstorms, and of course, we're still getting cold, frosty nights. But the soil in a couple of days will be dried out enough that I'll be able to actually get out there and work with it, and so I can get some seeds planted. And so what I'm telling you today will depend on what your spring is like. You may end up sliding it a little bit further back, but if the weather has dried out enough that you can work in your garden, you can get these seeds that we're going to be talking about today directly planted in your garden as much as 8 weeks before your last frost, okay? And you've got a big range there, 8 weeks all the way down to 4 weeks. And so, you know, play with this. But essentially, my point in this video is I want you to get out and get going as quickly as you can, okay? So let's talk about the different crops that you can be directly seeding in March if your last frost date is in May. And the first group would be the root crops, okay? So this would be things like carrots, radishes, turnips, and beets. Any of those are going to do really well planted in March. You're going to get them in. Probably you'll want to cover them with like a fabric row cover or something like that. That'll give them a little bit warmer environment so that they'll germinate well. But you can get those seeds out and planted in March, and then that'll take off and get you an extra early harvest this spring, okay? Next on the list is our leafy greens, and I'm actually going to look at my cheat sheet here for these because there's quite a few that you can be planting. So we're talking here about lettuce, spinach, kale, collards, arugula, endive, bok choy, tatsoi, any of the Asian greens, anything that you eat the leaf, those are cool season crops, and they're going to do well planted this early, and so you can go ahead and direct seed those plants out in your garden during the month of March. And again, good idea to do something to try and warm the soil up a little bit. So a couple of ideas for you. Number one, you can go watch this video up here where I talk about using plastic to warm up your soil. Or if you would prefer, you could just use a light fabric row cover over the top of the plants, either on a hoop or directly laying on top of the seed bed, and that will provide a warm enough environment to help those seeds get germinated and going extra early this spring, okay? Then we have a group of kind of just other catch-all plants that you can also be planting in March. And that would include, first and foremost, your peas. So all of the different types of peas, the shelling peas, the sugar snap peas, and the snow peas, all of those can be planted in March and are going to do just fantastic. And the sooner you can get them in, the better it's going to be because they need a long time to grow, and you want them to be done in time to plant some warm season crops after them. So definitely get your peas going in March, okay? Next on the list is potatoes, and potatoes are a little bit more iffy, okay? Because potatoes are sort of cool season crops, but not really. So they're frost tolerant, but they really don't like frost. And so if you're going to plant potatoes this early, definitely plan on being able to protect them from those really cold, frosty nights. Once the the tops have come up and they've started to grow, you want to make sure that they don't get a lot of frost on them. And so the way you do that is with like a heavy fabric grow cover at night, or plant them in a hoop house or a cold frame, and that should take care of it. And then last on the list of things that you can directly seed in your garden would be some of the cool season herbs. So here we're talking about things like parsley and cilantro. Both of those you could plant directly out into the garden and they're going to do great. Also, if you wanted to put some chive transplants out, they would do really well this time of year. And then it's also time to start thinking about getting your onions out into the garden, okay? So here we're talking about either planting them by seedling or by sets, okay? And also you could plant leek seedlings this time of year as well. And those we want to target about 6 weeks before our last frost date. So for some of us, that may actually slide into April, but for others, end of March is the time to get those onion seedlings and sets out in the garden so that they get a nice, good head start before the sunshine really starts coming up and causing them to bulb, okay? Other things that you could be planting in March would also be any of your cool season transplants as well. So now we're talking not about seeds, but we're talking about seedlings that you have either grown or bought. And that would be any of the cool season broccoli family, so broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, kohlrabi, any of those would do really well this time of year. Any of your cool season herbs, again, cilantro, parsley, and then any of your greens. So if you happen to have lettuce growing inside, or kale or collards or anything like that, all of those can go out in your garden. Again, you're probably going to be targeting about 6 weeks before your last frost for those transplants, which is probably going to put you most likely mid to late March when you're going to be getting those out, okay? All right, so that is everything that you can be planting in March. Again, if your last frost date lands in May, count back 8 weeks, and that's when you're going to kind of start targeting those planting dates, all right? Okay, that's all I have for you. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click that notification bell so that you can notice every time I release new videos. We have a fun following going over on Instagram, and I would love to have you go join us there as well. And then just really quickly, I want to tell you about these challenges that we have coming up. So last year we did a Get Your Garden Planted challenge, and essentially the point of this challenge is to get your tail in gear, okay? So if you're an experienced gardener already, it's going to give you the inspiration you need to get out in the garden and get going. If you're a new gardener, it's going to give you the information and the inspiration that you need to get out and get planting. So what we're going to do is for 5 days, we'll have about 25 minutes worth of video for you that will teach you a new gardening concept. We'll have homework assignments every day. There's a workbook that goes along with it. It's a beautiful workbook. My wife put it together and it's amazing. And so we'll have all of that for you. And over those 5 days, the homework will kind of build so that on the 5th day, you're actually out in your garden and you've gotten your tail in gear and you're getting things planted. And so that's the whole point of this one. It's kind of just a fun challenge to get you inspired and get you out and growing in your garden. We're going to do everything we can to keep the cost really low on this one. So we're thinking it's going to be about $15 is all to join for this 5 days. And you'll get, you know, about 2 hours worth of courses and the workbook and everything. So it's well worth the cost. And, you know, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to run it twice this year. Last year, we only ran it in May, and we had about 375 people that joined. This year we're going to try to do one in April and in May so that we kind of get a broader group of people and more people an opportunity to join. So what I need you to do right now is I need you to go sign up for the wait list. So you can either go down in the description, there's a link that you can click there, or you can click on this link right here, and that will take you over to our website, and you can sign up for either the April, and we'll do mid-April, and mid-May is when we'll be doing these 2 challenges. And so sign up for the one that's going to be best for you, and then once you're on the wait list, we'll send you more information as the time approaches for that challenge to actually get started so that you can actually go pay for it and get going on it, okay? So again, that's going to be a lot of fun. 375 people did it last year, and it was just a blast. And we're hoping to have a nice, awesome group again this year, okay? All right, that's all I have for you for this week, guys. Thanks for listening and sticking to the end of the video. Again, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and everybody have a great week. Happy gardening.